Hello, it's your boy Davidoff. So I did an MCU marathon that was like 18 episodes long, like in 2018 I think. It was from Iron Man to Black Panther, every single movie. Black Panther was a separate spoiler talk video, so I'm gonna like upload these into like from 18 videos to 3 really long ones. So you're seeing one of them right now, and I'll do phase 1, phase 2 and Civil War to Black Panther. So whichever one you're seeing, you can watch it if you want. You don't have to, but it is a re-upload from a main channel. So if you want to see the full marathon in its normal entirety, then you can see on the main channel. I'll probably link it down below. So yeah, enjoy. So the box set of phase 1 is done, and phase 2 starts with the 3rd and final installment of Iron Man. No, I don't think this was a good movie. I think it was pretty bad actually. Not the worst movie in phase 2. I think that I can think of one that's worse. And the second one, Iron Man 2, was worse as well. So it's not the worst movie in MCU, but I don't think it's a good movie. I think it's pretty bad. But let's talk about some of the moments in this movie. So it starts off in 1999, a key scene as it turns out. He's with this girl, and there's some guy called Killian, some nerdy guy who wants to talk to Tony. Doesn't get to talk to him in the end. So Tony says, "I'll meet you on the roof." And the poor guy goes and waits for Tony on the roof in 1999, and Tony never came. He waited for like 90 minutes, I think. So yeah, that is kind of harsh. But that Killian guy would turn out to be the villain. Like, that night was what made him into the villain of this movie. So yeah, there's that. Then you get introduction to the Mandarin, who I thought was going to be the main villain of this movie. Turns out he was just an actor, which was I don't know why they did that. Why would you do that? I don't know. Instead you get Killian, who's controlling the Mandarin, and he's just, well, he's got this red thing inside him, the extremist program, I think. What is it? It's just a fiery thing inside you, and you either explode or it stays inside you. And then, as it turns out, Tony Stark is having anxiety attacks after that wormhole thing in the Avengers. He's having flashbacks to that, and yeah, every time someone mentions New York, Battle of New York, he starts to panic. And yeah, it's not good to see, but yeah, he's having some I guess PTSD. And then Tony gives away his exact address to the Mandarin, or to the whole world. And I just don't know, why would you do that? I don't understand. First of all, he's rich, so wouldn't people know anyway, through Google? But anyway, why would you do that? Why? But yeah, the girl from 1999 that he was with, she turns up at his door. She wants to talk to him for whatever reason, and his house gets attacked by the Mandarin. Well, not the actual Mandarin, not the actor. Killian is actually the Mandarin, and it's just flipping confusing. Like, he wants to own terror, basically. The Mandarin is a character that he created. He wants the US to have a target or whatever, and it's just, he's gone through a lot of effort for that. He's gone through a lot of effort just to like own war. So Tony escapes the house attack scene. Everyone thinks he's dead, but he's actually alive. He lands in Tennessee. He finds out about the extremist program, the red fire thing. I don't even know what it's called. Extremist. Just call it extremist. He finds out about extremists, and he thinks that Killian's selling extremists to the Mandarin, when in reality Killian is the Mandarin, and he's not selling to anyone because the other Mandarin is fake. So Tony finds out, the actor finds the actor, then the real Mandarin turns up, Killian. He catches Tony, and he tells him about that night, 999, the day he left me on that roof. The first 20 minutes I thought you turned up, the next hour was just, it was what changed him. Another thing, fake Mandarin with British accent. On the TV, there's a match playing, football match, Liverpool v Chelsea in the Champions League. Pretty sure it's a semi-final as well. So he is watching like a replay, right? Because that match was long before 2013 when this movie is released. So then Air Force One gets hijacked by Iron Patriot or War Machine. Well, James Rhodes isn't there, but his suit has been overtaken by one of the guys, whatever that guy's name is. I forgot the guy's name. Is he bald? That flipping former soldier. He takes the Iron Patriot suit and well, to take the president, and he successfully does that. Tony goes to stop him, but then the guy releases all the passengers. He just drops them from the plane. So Tony has a choice: either go after the people or save the president. And he's not just going to let people die. So he goes down and he saves everyone. That was a cool scene. That was probably the coolest scene in the movie, actually. Him saving all those people from the plane. That was a dope scene. Although then you find out he wasn't really in there. He was controlling it, but he wasn't really in the suit. So there's that as well. This movie's all over the place for me. You know, I mean, the story makes sense, but I don't think it was very good. So then let's skip to the final scene. Killian, I want to call him Killian because I don't want to call him the Mandarin, okay? He's just Killian to me. He has the president in the Iron Patriot suit hanging. He's about to do his final video. He's been doing videos, forgot to mention, propaganda videos featuring the Mandarin as an actor to scare Americans, etc. And he's going to film the very last one of killing the president, but then Tony and James come in and house party protocol. That's a pretty cool scene though. That's a pretty cool scene. The start of the final battle, when like 30 Iron Man suits come in on autopilot. That was a dope scene. That and the saving people scene off the plane, the two coolest scenes of the movie. Yeah, those are just really, those are just good moments. Then you get this whole final battle, which was fine, I guess. James Rhodes saves the president while Tony fights everyone else, including Killian. Pepper supposedly dies, or she doesn't. She comes back 2 minutes later, but Killian is not far off killing Tony. Then Pepper saves him, and then Pepper kills Killian. So yeah, that is pretty much the climax. Oh yeah, forgot to mention, Killian puts extremis in Pepper. How did she get it out though? Did they ever explain that? Because she doesn't have it when she comes back in Spider-Man Homecoming. So maybe the extremis, you can get it out of someone. It doesn't stay in. I don't know, maybe she still has it. I don't flipping know. Maybe we find out Infinity War, because I'm pretty sure she's in that. So that could be interesting. Although it probably won't be. It'll probably just be like written off. It was an Iron Man 3. We're just gonna leave it there. That's probably what they'll do. Also, the way Pepper killed Killian, that was pretty badass as well. And then yeah, that's about it. The credits were pretty cool. The first, like, you know, after every Marvel movie, they do these little like 2-minute credits of like just really cool visuals. This one was no exception. It was very different to the rest, and it was done really well. Then you get the after credits scene, just one scene. You get Tony having a therapy session, or you think he is, with Bruce Banner, who's dozed off. And Tony basically, he's told, like, the story you get in the movie from 1999 all the way to this point. He's been telling Banner this whole time, and Banner fell asleep. And then Banner wakes up and Tony says, "Where did I miss you?" And he said 999, elevator 999. So Tony's told him the whole story, or the whole plot of Iron Man 3, and the Hulk was asleep the whole time. I think that was a pretty funny moment. I guess, like, in the Avengers at the end, Tony and Banner went off together, so I'm guessing they kept in contact. I guess they kept a little friendship there, and then Tony went off to Malibu, California to live there, had his whole story thingy, came back, then met Bruce Banner, had a therapy session, sort of, and then had that conversation, I guess. And then he starts going about something else, then the credits roll. So yeah, Bruce Banner's like, oh, not again. But yeah, this will be a lot shorter than usual. Apologies for that, it's just that, I mean, I don't mind watching it. I didn't suffer watching it or anything like that. I mean, I'm happy to watch this whole thing. It's just that this one was definitely one of the weakest movies. Not the worst one, but I still think it was bad. I'd give it a 4 or 5 out of 10. 5 is probably really nice, but yeah, I'd give it a low rating. Iron Man 2 was worse though. Iron Man 2 definitely worse. It's kind of like, obviously just my opinion. You might disagree. You might say they're all good, but I just think for me, the Iron Man movies, they declined over time. The first one was great. Second one and third one were just bad, and it was a shame really, because after the first one was so good, you'd expect the rest, you know. Obviously it doesn't always work out in trilogies, but it just got weaker. So you get that one great movie, then the rest is just trash. It's time to visit the dark world in Thor. This movie, I watched it when it came out in the cinema. It wasn't a good movie. I thought it was okay at the time, but it was a bad movie. It's one of the worst MCU movies, I think. The worst in Phase 2, I think, by far. Even Iron Man 3 is not as bad as this. Arguably the worst MCU movie. I mean, what's worse? Maybe Iron Man 2, maybe? Yeah, it's one of the worst movies. It's bad, but it does have some talking points and some good moments, I guess. So yeah, let's talk about it. If I were to rate it though, 4 out of 10 probably. You get your introduction to the Aether. The second Infinity Stone. Malekith wants it to create eternal darkness, which is scary stuff. Thankfully, he doesn't get it at the start, but he goes into like a sleep, I think, a long sleep, while it's hidden, because the ether is hidden down below Earth. But Malekith, if someone finds the ether, Malekith wakes up because he can sense where it is when it's not hidden. Obviously, it's hidden too far deep for him to know. But once Jane, the stupid idiot, once she finds it buried deep in Earth, Malekith awakens and he suddenly, the ether goes inside Jane, so she's an Infinity Stone inside her. What stone is it called? I can't remember which stone it is. I know it's called the ether, but it's not the power stone. No, the space stone is the Tesseract. I don't know, but it's one of them. It's a very powerful stone, to be fair. Malekith obviously wants to use it to create eternal darkness, and then you cut to Asgard. Loki's getting arrested. He's going to prison for his crimes after the Avengers. So this takes part right after the Avengers, I'm pretty sure. There's also a new Bifrost there, so I'm assuming that was like restored before the Avengers, I think. Then you get that prison breakout scene. Now Malekith's main man, I don't know what his name is, but that giant guy, Loki tells him where to go, and that guy ends up killing Loki's mom. And yeah, it's not really his fault, considering, like, even if he didn't tell him, I think that monster guy would have got there anyway to probably kill her. But damn, man, that is deep. Loki and Thor to lose their mothers like that is just crazy. But yeah, you get that whole scene. So then eventually Thor goes to prison to get Loki, because Loki's enraged, Loki's angry and upset, so is Thor. Thor asks him for help. He commits treason. Him, Thor, Loki, Heimdall, and a few and their friends who I can't name his friends. Okay, I know Lady Sif, that's about it. But yeah, they help Thor, Loki, and Jane escape because Malekith can sense the Infinity Stone. So as long as it's still in Asgard, Malekith will keep coming back until he's got it. So yeah, then you have that battle scene on that whatever that place is where Malekith is, and well, eventually Loki dies. I mean, he doesn't really die, but Malekith gets the Infinity Stone from Jane. Then Loki, well, at the time we think he's dead, but he's not. Later on though, in the same place, there's an Asgardian guard, right? He is sent there to check where are Thor, where is Loki, are they there? And then he goes back to Odin to report to them, right? I have a theory. That Asgardian guard who was there afterwards, after the aftermath, who found Loki, that guard is Loki. I think, well, he comes back at the end anyway, but we don't know that for sure. But I'm pretty sure that guard is Loki, because earlier in the movie, during the escape scene, like just before, Loki was changing into different characters. He changed into a guard. Now, I can't confirm that's the same guard as the other guard, but I think it might have been. Also, he turns into Captain America for like 10 seconds. That was quite funny. That was a cool cameo. Really cool cameo. Probably one of the coolest parts of the movie, actually. I think Loki's death was an illusion, and the actual Loki is that guard disguised. Then eventually he casts a spell on Odin, and he becomes king. Poses as Odin, of course, in Asgard in Thor Ragnarok. But yeah, then let's fast forward because this movie just wasn't good. Okay, I just want to talk about the main bits. Malekith arrives on Earth. You get that big battle scene. There's some random monster running around who's not part of it. He's just there causing chaos. Obviously, it's different dimensions, of course, in that whatever wasteland that was that they were fighting Malekith on and Earth. It's just, there's a portal between the two places. Final battle happens, which is okay. Visually, it's really cool. Like with all the red mist and everything, the visuals were amazing in the final battle. There was one funny bit as well in the London Underground when Thor goes London Underground and says how far from Greenwich, I think, 2 stops from here. That scene was actually, I found that really funny. I found it really funny because I live in London and I take the Underground, and to see a superhero like Thor on the Underground in London, it put a smile on my face because it was just quite funny to look at. I don't know why. It's not even a big thing. It's just that because I live in London, it just looks really funny. Anyway, the final battle ends, of course. Not much to talk about. Then you get Thor doesn't want to be king. It turns out that he's actually talking to Loki, not Odin. Loki's posing as Odin, of course. Thor doesn't know this yet until Ragnarok. So yeah, Loki is obviously alive. What else? The credits were nice visually. As for the credit scenes, I said in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, no, the Guardians of the Galaxy video that I already recorded, I said that you get introduction to the Collector. He's actually in this one, the after credit scene. So this is the actual introduction. So ignore me in that episode, I guess, when it comes out. But yeah, you get the Asgardians, Lady Sif, and whoever the other guy, what his name is. They give the ether to the Collector because they don't want. They've already got the Tesseract. They don't want 2 different Infinity Stones in the same place, in the same chamber. So they want to keep them apart. Give it to the Collector, and the Collector at the end says 1 down, 5 to go. So he's up to some mischief there, and I'm pretty sure Thanos goes to the Collector's place anyway to get that Infinity Stone. So that'll be an interesting scene. And then finally, the second after credit scene. Jane's on her own. Thor arrives. They kiss. Then you see that monster thing. Not the monster that killed their mum, but that 4-legged monster thingy that came from a different world through the portal, I guess. It's just running around chasing birds. Is that still on Earth now? Like, we never saw it die, did we? Does it turn up in Infinity War? That'd be hilarious, wouldn't it? It just randomly turns up and Hulk rides it. I don't flipping know, something ridiculous like that. But yeah, that would be a massive plot hole if they like end the MCU or end Phase 4, end Phase 3, I mean, and then that thing never turns up again. Where is it? Is it on Earth? Has it reproduced? Well, where is it? But yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's like right at the end of the after credit scene, the second after credit scene. Right at the end, there's some 4-legged thing, beast, massive thing, and it's just running around London. So I don't know what it's doing, but yeah, that's the end of it. Not a good movie, but you know, I mean, I enjoyed some scenes. It is time for Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Captain America: The Winter Soldier for me is the best MCU movie. It is absolutely brilliant. It's between this movie and Guardians of the Galaxy. Those 2 movies are just amazing. They're at the top. The best MCU movies, nothing comes close, nothing for me. Because, well, it's just such an amazing movie. It's more like a spy thriller than a superhero movie. Basically, he's working for an agency. That agency gets infiltrated by Hydra, another agency, of course. Him and a few friends have to stop that organization from killing millions of people. So, yeah, very much like a spy thriller. And it's really good. It is really good. I would give it a 9 out of 10. Considering I give nothing a 10, so 9 is highest. It is a brilliant movie. One of the best Marvel movies, the best MCU movie easily. Not easy actually. Guardians, as I said, is definitely top. It's top 2, but I consider this one better. And yeah, for those who say Marvel can't do edgy, can't do dark, this movie and Civil War kind of disagree. To be fair, I mean, there's some jokes in there and here and there, but they're mostly serious movies. So yeah, this movie was good, not because it was serious, but because it was just done really well. The plot, the storyline, the emotional scenes, the action scenes. The action scenes were amazing, man. That first action scene on that ship, that was badassery, alright? I liked the fight scenes in World War II in the first Captain America movie, but these fight scenes in this movie, jeez, they were epic. They were all epic. Oh yeah, you do meet Falcon at the start, I forgot to mention that. Captain America jumps out of a plane, not for the first time. Just like in the first movie, he jumps out of a plane to start that scene as well. What was I going to say? His new suit in that movie was just awesome. It was awesome. It just looked so much cooler than the old one. The old one looked a bit I mean, it was fine. It looked a bit goofy in a way, if that makes sense. The newer one just looked so much cooler, and he was just such a badass in this movie. And there's that scene with Peggy Carter. She's old now, old lady, 70 years later. That was a depressing scene, emotional scene, because well, every 2 minutes she forgets. Like, she's talking to him, and then she's like, "Hey, Steve, you survived," and that's just like, jeez, man, that is depressing. So anyway, Nick Fury kind of figures out that there's something wrong within S.H.I.E.L.D. and he tells Alexander Pierce, who's actually behind it all anyway. He's behind, he's the head of it, he's the leader of it, but Nick Fury doesn't know this. He tells Alexander Pierce. Alexander says, "Oh, I'm gonna look into it." Obviously he doesn't. Nick Fury gets chased. That was a pretty cool chase scene ending in Winter Soldier's introduction. Damn, I didn't know, at this point I didn't know it was Bucky Barnes. I didn't know at all. Like, I knew he died in the first movie, but I didn't, when I first watched it with my granddad and cousin, I didn't know. And then let's fast forward to Captain America's flat. He comes to his flat. Sharon Carter's there. She lives opposite him. Obviously he doesn't know. She's called Kate at this point, but she's Sharon Carter. Captain America goes into his flat and he sees Nick Fury. He says, "Don't trust anyone." And Nick Fury gets shot twice, I think. Yeah, and then Captain chases, well, Sharon Carter goes to look after Nick Fury, while Captain Steve, I should just call him Cap. Cap just sounds the coolest. Cap chases Winter Soldier, and that scene was, well, it wasn't a massive chase scene, but Winter Soldier catching the shield just like that was shocking. So then you get Alexander Pierce trying to vilify Nick Fury to Captain America. Obviously Nick Fury dies. He doesn't actually die, but we all think he's dead at this point. And Alexander Pierce is trying to, well, he's behind Hydra, but he's not behind Hydra, but he's the head of operations for Hydra at the moment. And Cap doesn't know this obviously, but he's trying to, Alexander's trying to tell Cap that Nick Fury's the bad guy and all this. And yeah, it leads to, well, Captain America doesn't believe him obviously, but it leads to the elevator scene, which is another badass fight scene. Then the escape. Wow, the way he takes out that Quinjet, that was just awesome. I'm sure you all agree that that scene when he escapes out of the S.H.I.E.L.D. base, when he takes out that Quinjet with a shield, that is just epic. Epic badassery, if that's even a word or a phrase. It is epic. So Black Widow and Captain America are fugitives now. They have to go undercover. Also, Captain America steals a car, which is apparently quite iconic to his character in the comics. I haven't read the comics. I haven't read any comics at all, so I don't know about it. But apparently, he is known for stealing cars. That is like his thing. So yeah, I didn't know that at this point. Like, I didn't know until Civil War. I saw Civil War, and then after that I saw some spoiler videos, and one guy mentioned it, like, he's known for that in the comics. So yeah, that's an interesting fact. So they find a military base, an old military base from World War II where Captain used to train. Well, when he was back when he was skinny. He goes and, well, that USB stick, whatever that was, that intelligence stick, he goes into Zola's brain. Zola, obviously, Zola's the guy, that short, weird guy from the first movie. He obviously died, but he transferred his brain to a computer or something, and Captain finds that computer. He talks to Zola, and Zola mentions that Hydra have been there all along. They've been inside S.H.I.E.L.D. the whole time, waiting for their moment to take over the world. So that's crazy stuff. Let's fast forward now to the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent being interrogated by Captain America. You see Falcon's suit for the first time, so that's pretty cool. It's not really a suit, it's just his wings really, but it looks pretty cool. And then the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent mentions, like, their targets. There are millions of targets, and they include these people. They include Captain America, a TV anchor in Cairo. I don't know if that's referencing something or it's just a random TV anchor. The Under Secretary of Defense, a high school valedictorian in Lower City, Bruce Banner, Stephen Strange. Now, I think the valedictorian, that's not Betty, it's not Betty Ross, is it? I don't know, it seems like this TV anchor, the Secretary of Defense, and the valedictorian, they're actually like actual characters, so I don't know. But Bruce Banner is the Hulk obviously, and Stephen Strange, they referenced Doctor Strange. Now, I did not know who Doctor Strange was until the movie itself, so I did not catch this reference when I first watched it, but now watching it back, not the first time I noticed, of course. I watched it a few months ago and I noticed, but yeah, to reference Doctor Strange that early in the universe, that is crazy stuff, and I should have picked up on that. So then you get that highway scene, that big battle between Cap, Winter Soldier, and the Shield, the rogue, no, not rogue, the bad Shield agents. It ends in, well, it was an epic scene, by the way, but it ends in Bucky's mask, well, Winter Soldier's Bucky, obviously, Bucky's mask coming off, and Captain realizes, wait, that's Bucky. And he's like, Bucky? And he's like, who the hell is Bucky? Because, well, he's being mind controlled. He's under this program, so he doesn't remember Captain America. So, yeah, that is crazy stuff to, like, realize that the bad guy, the evil guy you've been fighting for half this movie, not half this movie, but for, like, for the first time in this movie, actually, for the guy you're fighting, the guy who killed supposedly killed Nick Fury, is actually your best mate from 70 years ago. So yeah, after Captain America gets caught with Falcon and Black Widow, they obviously break out with Agent 13, Sharon Carter, who was Captain's neighbor, and then they find out that Nick Fury is actually alive, which is, well, I don't know how they did that. Like, they saw him on the bed, hospital bed, so how did they, like, fabricate that? I don't know, but it's flipping cool to find out that he's alive. And then it cuts the Winter Soldier scene. He gets flashbacks, because Captain America said, Bucky. Winter Soldier gets flashbacks to 70 years ago, which is, not the war, but he gets flashbacks to being experimented on. He gets caught by Hydra and they put him on ice, they experiment on him. He starts to remember, but then they reset his memory again, so yeah, then that's gone temporarily, I guess. And then Captain America goes to the museum that he was at before earlier in the movie. I didn't mention that, but he goes to the museum because he needs a suit, and he gets the museum suit, his original suit. I'm assuming that's his original suit, the actual one in the museum, and he just took it, and then he gets an announcement thing in Shield's base, and announces that Hydra infiltrated Shield, and your enemy could be right next to you. So for those who are still good, fight back. And yeah, it starts off this final battle between the good Shield agents, the bad Shield agents. Black Widow's gone up to Alexander's office. Captain America's and Falcon are trying to disable the helicarriers, because the helicarriers have targets, including the ones I mentioned, including Doctor Strange, but they have millions of targets, like millions at a time, and Captain America and Falcon have to disable the helicarriers to stop this from happening. So yeah, you get this massive, awesome final battle. Captain America tries to put the chip in. They have to put some chip in. I don't know how it works. You just put some chips in. You had to put a chip in each of the three helicarriers, and the first two were done pretty quickly. The last one was the hardest. The Winter Soldier's in the way, but Captain America, even though he got shot 3 times, he managed to get the chip in just in time, with seconds left until firing time. And yeah, and then not Agent 13. What's her name? Maria Hill, I think she is. She reset the targets to, the helicarriers to aim at each other, so they destroy each other. And Cap just says, fire. You know, just fire, because even though he's been shot 3 times, he's still in one of them. Just fire it. Just get it done. And yeah, obviously, I didn't mention too much about the fight between Captain and Bucky, but it was obviously a great fight. Just the final battle in general, it was just a great sequence. But yeah, he sees Bucky in trouble, stuck under part of the ship, I guess. He saves Bucky, and then Bucky tries to fight him. Captain tries to say, like, you're my friend, I'm not gonna fight you. And Bucky, he doesn't remember too well yet, and he just keeps. Well, Captain throws down his shields, and he's not gonna fight him back. So Winter Soldier's just punching his face. Cap says, "You're my friend." This was a pretty emotional scene. Cap says, "You're my friend." Bucky says, "You're my mission." And Cap says this, "Then finish it, because I'm with you to the end of the line." Now that is a callback to the scene in the first Avenger, in Captain America first movie, where Bucky died. See you at the end of the line, I think. That was the line, I think, when he died, when he fell. So yeah, it was a very deja vu sort of similar scene. And yeah, Cap falls into the water. Thankfully they're above water. He falls into the water and Bucky saves him. Bucky saves his life, and then walks away. He drags him to the shore, then walks away. But all the helicarriers are destroyed now. They fight at each other, they're all destroyed. So then you get the end scene with well, Nick Fury, Black Widow, they're going their separate ways, going somewhere to do whatever. And then you have Captain America and Falcon. So Steve's going after Bucky because he's his best friend, he wants to go after him. And Falcon's like, yeah, when do we start? And obviously that leads on to Civil War. I don't know what the time frame is because I'm pretty sure Age of Ultron is in between. But Civil War is after Winter Soldier, so like, I guess they want to go and find him, but they're kind of stalled by the Avengers mission and then go on that mission. I guess that's how it works. So the first after credits scene, Hydra have Loki's scepter, leading on to Age of Ultron, of course, and of course they show the reveal of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch introduced into the universe. That was it was a pretty cool way to do it. So yeah, that was a cool scene. Then the second after credits scene, Bucky is at Captain America's museum, and he notices himself on the side as his best friend, and he starts to, I guess he starts to remember more, because I guess he's going there to try and find out who he is, and I'm guessing he starts to remember more of it. But yeah, that is all to talk about. I talked about this less than Thor and the first Captain America movie, I think. So I don't know why, but yeah, this was definitely the best movie for me. Definitely the best movie. Not actually, as I said at the start, Guardians is arguably better, arguably not as good. It's just, these two are just neck and neck. But for me, Winter Soldier, just above. Obviously two different types of movies though, like two very different movies. So it's hard to compare, but they're both MCU movies, both part of the same universe. I cannot wait to see everyone meet. Like, I want to see Captain America have a conversation with Star-Lord. Like, I want to see, like, no, Captain America, Star-Lord and Thor, because they're all from different times and places. They don't understand the Earth's customs, etc. Hooked on a feeling, welcome to Guardians of the Galaxy. What episode are we on? I don't know, but welcome to Guardians of the Galaxy. One of the best movies, easily for me, the top two in the MCU, along with Winter Soldier. I think the Winter Soldier is the best one. This one in second, but it's very close between them. They're very neck and neck. The two best MCU movies for me, and this one was just really, really fun. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, I enjoyed it every single time I watched it. But believe it or not, I didn't at first. I didn't like the look of it. I did not go and see it in the cinema at first, okay? Because I saw the trailers and it just looked weird to me. I don't know, maybe it was just me. It just looked silly, it just looked a bit stupid. And I thought, okay, I'm not going to see this because I didn't even know it was going to be part of the MCU. Like, I didn't think, like, I thought maybe it's just a standalone Marvel movie. I didn't think it was going to be part of the MCU. Like, I knew it was Marvel, I just didn't know it was MCU movie. So, yeah, I didn't watch it at first. But then it got good reviews. It got really good reviews. People loved it, like from like critics and fans. It was a popular movie, so I thought, oh, okay, what is all the fuss about? What is this? I went to go and see it, and I was pleasantly surprised. Okay, I did go and see it in the cinema in IMAX, and obviously, pleasantly, I was surprised. It was just so good to watch. It was fun. It was fun more than anything. It was brilliant. Anyway, as fun as it was, it did have a series of emotional moments too, especially at the start where Star-Lord as a kid, Peter as a kid, seeing his mum die. That was emotional. That was very, very emotional. His mum gives him a present, of course, which he doesn't open to the end of the movie. So yeah, it's very emotional, that bit. But yeah, then you get like 26 years later, I think, you see him with the Infinity Stone with the orb, arguably the most powerful one. Actually, it might be the Soul Stone, most powerful one, but the purple one seems to, considering you can wipe out a whole planet with that stone, is it the most powerful one? Considering you can wipe out all life just with that stone? Like, why doesn't Thanos just go to like every planet with that stone, place it down, and kill everyone? It's probably quicker than trying to find all the stones. I don't know. I'm just being silly, but yeah. Obviously, we find out that Yondu was actually hired by Star-Lord's dad to get him as a kid. Obviously, you don't find out who he is till the second one, and it does get mentioned at the end of the movie though. It does get mentioned that he was hired by his father to find him. So yeah, there's that as well. So you get your first introduction to Ronan, Nebula, and Gamora. Obviously Thanos' daughters, Nebula, Gamora, working for Ronan to find the orb, to find that purple Infinity Stone. Because Thanos is collecting them still. I mean, he's not got off his chair yet, but he's hired Ronan to collect the Infinity Stone. Obviously, Ronan doesn't know yet that it has an Infinity Stone inside the orb, but obviously Thanos wants it, and he's hired Ronan to get it. He's also given him Gamora and Nebula to help go and get it. Nebula wants to go down and get it, but Gamora's like, no, I want to go and do it. But in reality, we know that she wants to betray Thanos. She wants to get the stone, sell it to the Collector. So yeah, there's that as well. Then you get that whole battle scene, that funny battle scene. You get introduction to Rocket and Groot. You get Star-Lord not selling the Infinity Stone to his seller. And you get that fight on Xandar. Star-Lord, Gamora, Rocket, Groot, they're all fighting each other. They all end up in prison, and they meet Drax there as well, of course. So yeah, that's where it all formed. And the prison escape scene was great. That prison escape scene was it was so fun to watch. Obviously, Ronan, he killed Drax the Destroyer's wife and daughter. I think in the comics it's actually Thanos who does it, but this time it's Ronan who does it, but he's working for Thanos. So Thanos is still behind it, but it was Ronan. So Drax he wants revenge against both Ronan and Thanos, obviously. I mean, if you kill a man's wife and daughter, obviously it's gonna break him. I mean, have you seen The Punisher? Jeez, man. In Infinity War, Drax is one of the people I want to see kill Thanos. Like, I think he won't die in Infinity War. I think he'll die in Avengers 4. I think they will kill him off. Drax could be the one to do it, could be the one to kill him, or maybe he tries and fails. Like, there is a leak scene in Infinity War that he goes after Thanos on his own, so there's that as well. That's not a massive spoiler, by the way, don't worry. But either Drax or Nebula, I think, or Gamora, I think, should be the most deserving of actually killing Thanos. We'll see though in the movie, of course, in Avengers 4, I think. In Infinity War, he will survive. He won't die in Infinity War. Avengers 4, I think, that's where Thanos dies, by whoever kills him. So yeah, you get that first introduction, that first proper introduction to Thanos. You get a scene with him where he talks. He doesn't get up, he doesn't do anything, but he damn talks. Okay, you get that scene in Ronan and Thanos. That scene gives me chills. Like, when Thanos speaks, bro, you know he means business. So then the Guardians go and meet the Collector. Obviously there's that massive scene. Then while that's all happening, Drax calls Ronan, stupidly. Calls Ronan's army. They lose the Infinity Stone. Star-Lord and Gamora get captured by the Ravagers, who are after Star-Lord, of course. And yeah, everything's gone wrong, all because Drax called Ronan. Absolute mongrel. I know you want to kill him. This is the thing about Drax the Destroyer. Like, I understand why he's doing that. Like, he's blinded by rage. It's a bit like Black Panther in Civil War. He was blinded by rage. You know, blinded by rage. And the thing is with Drax, it might get him killed. Like, he called Ronan. It could have got him killed. It might get him killed against Thanos. Like, the moment he sees Thanos, you can tell he'll go after him. Like, he will not listen to the plan. He will go after Thanos, and it's not going to end well. He might get killed that way. I hope he doesn't, but it's possible. Ronan refuses to give the orb to Thanos because Ronan has found out now that it has an Infinity Stone in it, and that is crazy stuff, right? He wants to turn on Thanos, and he says he's going to destroy Xandar, but then it's coming for Thanos, which is crazy stuff. But yeah, he's not a great villain, Ronan. But I mean, he's okay, I guess. And Nebula says, okay, if you kill Thanos, I will help you destroy the universe. She said 1,000 planets, but let's just say universe. But yeah, Thanos' two daughters both want to betray him, which is crazy stuff. It's not his only children, of course. I'm pretty sure the Black Order are his children. Are they all his children? I'm pretty sure Proxima Midnight, who's in the Black Order, she's his daughter. They're all adopted, I think, anyway. Let's cut to that funny scene on Yondu's ship of all the Guardians making a plan, talking to each other. That was a pretty funny scene. It was a pretty, like, generally, all the characters were just really funny in that scene. So there's that as well. But it's a good mix, you know. You have your serious scenes with Thanos and Ronan, and the emotional scenes with Star-Lord's mum. Then you have the funny scenes as well, a lot of comedy, and yeah, it just works really well. It's a good combination, and they did it. They kept the balance really well. So you get that the final battle. Guardians enter Ronan's ship. Yondu taking out everyone with his whistle was really cool. Groot taking out everyone with his when he just smashed everyone against the wall. That was just a badass scene from Groot. So then you get Rocket flying over his ship to take out Ronan, and then Ronan's ship falls, and then Groot sacrifices himself to save the Guardians. Now, here's the thing about Baby Groot. Baby Groot, right? Apparently, Baby Groot in Guardians 2 is Groot's son. Apparently, it's not Groot growing back. Apparently, it's Baby Groot. Apparently, it's his son. Okay? And if you want to know who my source is, it's the damn director of the damn movie and the second movie. Okay, James Gunn said it on Twitter. He said it's Groot's son. It's not actually Groot growing back. This whole time, until about a month ago, I thought, okay, it's the same Groot. No, it's not. Apparently, it's his son. Now, I don't know. He might be joking. He might be joking, to be fair. He might be joking. But I have reason to think that he's serious, because it makes sense, right? So, that's really weird. Like, this whole time I thought Groot was going back. But is his son? This is shocking stuff. Anyway, back to the movie. You know Peter Quill's stereo, Peter Quill aka Star-Lord, his stereo in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I saw that on the floor in Xandar after Ronan's ship fell. So did he get that radio from Xandar? Or did he already have it before then? I don't know, but yeah, there's that as well. That's very random. So yeah, Ronan's still alive, of course, but Peter starts dancing to distract him. Obviously, if he touches the floor with the hammer, the whole planet of Xandar, just all life is gone. So he has to distract him while Rocket forges the weapon back to kill him. Obviously, it failed the first time, but this time he manages to get it back up. And while he's distracted, Ronan gets shot by Drax. Drax has got to be the guy to shoot him, right? You know, you just got to give it to him. And he shoots Ronan, and he doesn't shoot Ronan, he shoots the hammer. He shoots the hammer, then the Infinity Stone falls out. Obviously, it can't touch the ground. So Star-Lord goes for it, and he gets it. Obviously, there's a but the Collector explains all the Infinity Stones, and for this one, you need multiple people to hold it. Like, you need multiple people to manage to contain it. But people tried before and failed. Like, a powerful group of people failed. But Star-Lord got it, and he was in the process of dying, because if you touch it, you die. He was in the process of dying. He somehow survived so long. Gamora held his hand, of course. So there's more people to contain it now. Drax comes in, Rocket comes in. All four of them, they managed to contain it. And after watching the first movie, you just wonder how they contained it. But then you find out in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 that Peter is half God. His dad's a living planet. His dad's a god. He is half God. Maybe that's why they managed to hold it for so long. Because if he was just a normal human, I think they would have all died. But because he's half God, suddenly it's different, you know? Suddenly it's very different. So yeah, then you get Peter opening that present finally from his mum at the end, and yeah. There were other scenes I didn't mention, but I didn't think I needed to. But those are the main parts of the movie, I think. And I just really enjoyed it, 9 out of 10 at least. It was a brilliant movie, one of the best Marvel movies. It just came out of nowhere, and it just worked so well. And I cannot wait until they meet the Avengers in Infinity War. I'm like a kid at Christmas, you know. As a kid growing up, I mentioned this before, I think, in a previous episode. I always want to see a movie where lots of heroes, lots of my favourite heroes, team up together in one movie. And I'm finally, I mean, I got that in Avengers Assemble, but this is just something I've never before. It's like I'm living the dream here, living the dream. It is time for the Avengers to once again assemble, and this time for the week of Ultron. This movie was, well, it was fun. The fight scenes, the action, the comedy as well. It was fun, but it wasn't that good a movie. It was quite average, to be honest with you. And the main reasons for that were the plot itself and the villain. The villain for me was underwhelming, considering what we got in the trailers. Like, there are no strings on me. Where was that menacing guy in the movie? That's what I want to know. Like, he's still pretty cool, I guess, but where is that menacing guy? They sold it as such a dark villain, you know, but he was a lot underwhelming in this movie. And yeah, for that reason, and for the plot of the movie, which was quite weak, this movie wasn't that good, but there were good moments to it. The fight scenes mainly. The fight scenes were cool. The fight scenes were very nice. Probably the better fight scenes than the previous Avengers movie. But the previous Avengers movie was the better movie. The first Avengers movie. That was a better movie. But this one, not anywhere near as good, but has better fight scenes, I guess. So yeah, but I still enjoyed it. You know, it's still like you can enjoy it. It's just not that good for me, anyway. Anyway, let's talk about some stuff. You get the opening battle. That was really fun. You get a money shot as well. All the Avengers coming in together. That is brilliant. Better than the Avengers 1-1 when they're in a circle. This one is a lot better. When they're all jumping in together. I hope to do a similar one in Infinity War. Well, I don't know how they'll do that because there's so many characters. We shall see though. Maybe they don't. But yeah. Yeah, it was a good scene, opening sequence. You obviously get Captain America with that language banter thing. A lot of the banter in this movie between characters is really good. You get introduction to Scarlet Witch, Wanda, let's call her Wanda because it's easier, and Quicksilver, of course. So Wanda makes Tony, well, she plays a trick on him to make him see his vision of all the Avengers dying, and it's his fault somehow. And because of that, Wanda sees that Tony could do something with this. She sees the fear in his head, and she's gonna just let him take Loki's scepter. Because Loki's scepter's right there. She lets him take Loki's scepter because she's made Tony see a vision now, and Tony's gonna look at that and think, what if I can stop that? What if I can create an army, a metal army around the world? And yeah, he accidentally creates Ultron, of course, eventually. So technically Scarlet Witch creates Ultron, indirectly though, not directly, but you know what I mean. Well, what she does leads on to Ultron being created. So yeah, then you get a hammer lifting scene as well. That was a pretty cool, that was a pretty funny scene. That whole party scene was fine. A lot of good lines between characters. It was nice to see the Avengers like being chilled just for like 5 minutes. Then you get a hammer scene, of course, and Captain America he moved the hammer. So you know, I think there's a reference in the comics. Like, I think he is actually worthy in the comics. I don't know. I think he actually lifted it. I'm not sure. I haven't read the comics, so I'm not an expert on that. But then Ultron interrupts. Obviously, he introduces himself, and he's in the internet. Now, if Ultron is in the internet, he could do a lot more damage. Like, I thought he's supposed to be smart in this movie. He seems kind of stupid. If you're in the internet, you can do a lot. You can mess with traffic lights, make cars crash. You can drop planes from the damn sky. You can do so much damage. Yet he does nowhere near the amount of damage that he could do, you know? But yeah, I think that's just another like thing it just makes you think like, is this guy stupid or what? Yeah, then you get the twins meeting Ultron. They go to wherever Claw is. Obviously Claw from Black Panther is in this movie. Ultron and the twins are Wanda and Quicksilver. They go and see Claw to get vibranium that Claw has stolen from Wakanda, obviously, as we'll find out in the future. They do mention that, I think. I'm pretty sure they mentioned that. But yeah, they get vibranium. The Avengers interrupt. They try and fight. That was a cool fight scene. So apart from Hawkeye, all the Avengers get mind controlled, but yeah, mind controlled a little bit. Wanda puts a spell on them, same like Tony. They give them dreams or nightmares, etc. The most important one though is Thor's nightmare. It also sets up Ragnarok. By the way, another thing this movie is guilty of. It tries to do too many things at once. Like, it's trying to give you an Avengers movie, but it's trying to set up like 4 movies at the same time. Think about it. The reference to Claw, they meet Claw, reference to Wakanda, vibranium. They're setting up Black Panther there. Alright, in Thor's vision, he sees Heimdall saying it's the end of all things. That sets up Thor Ragnarok. That's another movie set up, okay? You get the argument later on with Captain and Tony, setting up, there's a preview to Civil War there, okay? And the whole thing is also a preview to Infinity War. So, you know, I mean, I get the MCU, like, you gotta set up the bigger movies, the future movies, but it's sort of like overdoing it a little bit, you know? Just try to be like what you're supposed to be, like an Avengers movie. Anyway, in Thor's vision, he sees 4 Infinity Stones. Obviously, he only knows about 4. Only 4 of them turn up at this point. The 5th one turns up Doctor Strange, yeah. And then the last one, we don't know where it is. But yeah, he has a vision of that. And he goes and finds Dr. Selvig eventually, like just later on in the movie, but let's just mention that now. He goes to Dr. Selvig for help. Dr. Selvig is quite popular, you know. He's been in both Thor movies, both Avengers movies. No, the first 2 Thor movies, both Avengers movies. Doing all the appearances there, Dr. Selvig. But yeah, he helps with his vision, and he just finds out. He doesn't find out anything really. He just finds out that there's Infinity Stones, and it's not a coincidence that they're all turning up now. Clearly, someone is pulling the strings, and that someone is Thanos, who will come eventually. He also sees Vision as well. In his vision, he also sees the Vision. Also, Wanda eventually gets to Bruce Banner, puts a spell on him, and then you have that whole massive fight between Hulk and the Hulkbuster, Iron Man Hulkbuster. That was an awesome fight scene, maybe the best fight scene in the movie, to be fair. Like that was madness, absolute chaos. But seeing this also makes me understand the Sokovia Accords more. Like usually, like I mean, I was Team Cap in Civil War, but I could like looking at stuff like that. It all came from Tony. Maybe the Sokovia Accords they had a point with it. I mean, there was logic to it. Alright, so let's fast forward. Avengers get to the safe house, Hawkeye's house. He has a family, it turns out, to our surprise and to the Avengers' surprise. I think they just put that in the movie. They just put it in the movie because they wanted to give Hawkeye a bit more of a story, I guess, because he was very popular. I don't hate him. He gets a lot of hate, but I don't hate him. I just think that he shouldn't be in the Avengers since he's just an archer. Ultron wanting to get his final body, and if he gets it, he'll be unstoppable, basically. And he wants to destroy the world. And Wanda taps into his head and actually finds out. Oh my God! She realizes what he's doing. And obviously, this whole time she was on Ultron's side, but then she realizes that Ultron wants to kill everyone on Earth, and the twins obviously turn on him, but obviously they can't kill him at this point, but still, they turn on him. So then you get that other battle scene, the chase scene. Captain America chases Ultron. Ultron was a lot more powerful, but Captain did well to stand his ground. He did really well. Anyway, the twins save Captain America. Ultron damages the train that they're on, but the twins, Wanda helps stop the train, so she's now sort of on their side. Cap tells, Hawkeye's got the body now, Ultron's final body, so he's taking it back to Tony. Black Widow, what's her name? Romanoff. Agent Romanoff is captured by Ultron, of course, but yeah, the twins try to warn. Wanda tries to warn Captain America, like, you can't let it go to Stark, because he doesn't know the difference between saving the world and destroying it. If actually, is that the line? But Tony created Ultron, so obviously they can't trust him with Ultron's final body. So yeah, but eventually it turns out that Tony's actually right the whole time. But at this point in time, he's got a point. He's got a point. Like, you can't really let Tony do what he wants to do. So Tony wants to put Jarvis, because Jarvis is still there somehow. Tony wants to put Jarvis's mind into Ultron's final body, into, well, it's the Vision, but into his body, to create their own, you know, their own being that's not Ultron, that can stop Ultron. And then they all start fighting each other. Captain America, the twins, and they obviously disagree. Hawkeye, Banner, and Tony are trying to trying to make it happen. Make Jarvis's mind get into Vision's body. Obviously the twins and Captain disagree with this, and then Thor comes out of nowhere and just charges it up, because Thor realizes that Tony was right. I love how Thor says Tony is right, and Banner's like, the world is ending. it was quite a funny scene. But yeah, eventually the Vision is created, and he looks really cool. When he first comes out, he looks proper cool. And then yeah, he explains who he is, what he wants to do. Then he lifts the hammer. We saw a scene earlier where none of the Avengers can lift Thor's hammer. Okay, Vision just lifts it. Just like that. Obviously he's an android. He's not a person or a being or a living being. He is living, but he's an android. So I guess it doesn't count, because it doesn't have to be worthy. It's just to be an android. And yeah, he lifts the hammer. That was a shock moment though. One of the best moments of the movie, actually. I remember watching it in the cinema. I watched it like 3 times. Every single time, the crowd in the cinema were like, like literally everyone was shocked by it, and even I was shocked. I was like, whoa! Everyone was like, whoa! he actually lifted that. Like, geez, that was an iconic, memorable moment. So yeah, Ultron obviously he wants to take Sokovia, the city, elevate it into the sky as high as possible, and then just drop it, and it'll be like a meteor. He wants to, well, if it's high enough, it will destroy it will make humans extinct. So yeah, then you get that whole final battle sequence. It was really cool, really well done. The battle sequences are never the problem with this movie, okay? They're trying to set up Tony movies, first of all. The villain was underwhelming, and the plot wasn't anything special, okay? That's why I think it was average. But the battle sequences are they're fun. And the final battle was no different. It was just epic on all proportions. But they still got to get people off the island that's currently flying up, and obviously they got to stop the island from falling as well. So there's that as well. But first of all, they got to get the people off, and Nick Fury comes in and saves the day with his heli carrier. I'm sorry, I'm in a bit of a rush because I'm gonna watch Ant-Man, and it's like 10:30 p.m. Yeah, Nick Fury comes with the heli carrier. Now, how is there any left? Like, when they all destroyed the Winter Soldier, like, was there a hidden one somewhere? There would be, wouldn't there? There would be, just to carry through the plot. But then there's a kid who's in trouble. They think they got everyone on the ship, but there's one kid left. Hawkeye, like a hero he is, he goes to save that kid while Ultron is shooting at them. Ultron is about to come to shoot Hawkeye and the kid, of course. He shoots Hulk first and Black Widow. How Black Widow survives that, I do not know. How does she not get hit once? I don't know. Maybe Ultron is both stupid and inaccurate, and he shoots Captain America and Thor as well. I'm pretty sure Captain America didn't get any wounds either, so that's something else. He is stupid and he's inaccurate, as I just said. Anyway, Hawkeye tried to save the kid. He can't run anywhere. Ultron shooting at him. About the bullet's about to hit him, and he just covers the kid. And then Quicksilver runs in, and Quicksilver dies. Quicksilver gets shot to death, quite literally, and that is just brutal and devastating. That was a crazy scene. Obviously sent Wanda in a bit of rage. Hulk went to the ship where Ultron was shooting from, threw Ultron out. Hulk flew away to wherever he went. So he went to the Grandmaster's, London Grandmaster's junkyard, obviously. In the future in Ragnarok, where we find him, obviously. So he flies away. Damn, he was gone for a long time. He flew away in 2015, mate. It's 2017 and he turns up in Ragnarok. But yeah, don't know about the time frame, because I'm pretty sure Ragnarok happens during Civil War. So that's something else. And then Wanda kills the main Ultron. The main Ultron, not the last one, but they've destroyed most of them now. Wanda kills the main one. Everyone's saved, but now the island, the Sokovia Island, is falling because Wanda was chosen to guard the what is it? I'm just gonna call it a button. She's gonna guard the button which would send the city as a meteor down. And when Ultron kills her brother, she goes to kill an Ultron, and another Ultron robot presses the button, and it's suddenly falling. Obviously, Tony and Thor have a way of stopping that. They have to destroy the city before it hits the ground. And they managed to do that, and that was quite an epic scene. And then you get Vision dealing with the last Ultron, and then you get the tease of the new Avengers team, and you get Captain America saying, Avengers! And then it just ends there. Just let him say it once. Please tell me he says it once in Infinity War. I just want to see him say it. Okay, apparently there's a moment in the comics where he goes one-on-one with Thanos. Apparently that happens again in this movie. That'd be crazy stuff. It dies in the comic though, so that's gonna be tough to see if that happens. No spoilers, obviously. I haven't seen the movie, but you know what I mean. And then finally you get the after credit scene, just the one, I'm pretty sure. Apparently in the USA there's two. I don't know how that works, but yeah, it's one on the Blu-ray, and in the UK in cinemas when it was out. You get Thanos. Thanos arrives. There's a lot more purple in that one than ever before, probably. He's like, fine, I'll do it myself. I think he's been watching somehow, so obviously it needs to be stopped. So yeah, Infinity War and Avengers 4 is going to be madness, absolute madness. As for this movie, could I watch it again? Yes. Do I think it's good? No, it's bang average. Do I think the action scenes are good? Yes, action scenes are great. Do I think the comedy scenes and the character interaction was good? Yes. Those were good. The bad moments was the villain being underwhelming, okay, not being what we expected him to be. He was quite cool. He was quite cool at times, but he was not as good as what I thought he would be, okay, and the plot wasn't that great. But he does have talking points, and yeah, it's not as I said, it's average. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a rating of 7 out of 10. Now that seems a little too nice, very nice actually, but it's only a 7 because, well, it has good action scenes, and it's at least it's quite enjoyable to an extent. Have you ever seen a movie idea where you think there is no way it is gonna work? It's not gonna work at all, but then it works? Well, that's what we got with Ant-Man. So yeah, let's talk about that one now. Ant-Man is a silly idea. It was a silly idea for me. I did not think that it would work. Genuinely, I did not think it would work. I went to go and see it, of course, but they proved me wrong. They made Ant-Man, something silly like Ant-Man, made the concept look cool and look badass, and it was absolutely brilliant. It just worked. It wasn't the best Marvel MCU movie, nowhere near. If I was to rate it, 7.5 out of 10. I don't think it was a great movie, but it was quite a good origin story, and yeah, it was an all-round good movie. Although the plot was very similar to Iron Man when you think about it. It is done differently because this is more of a heist movie. You've got your whole heist crew, of course, and the final mission in the movie is a massive heist, but it's mixed in a superior genre, so it just worked really well. Also, the theme song is brilliant. Now, Marvel are not, if there's one thing I'm not good at, it's theme songs. Obviously villains as well. Villains they don't really do it very well with, but with theme songs they've only got one that's iconic, and that is the Avengers. It's a brilliant theme song, but it's the only one that's iconic. The good ones, Iron Man, the first movie, Iron Man movie, that was a good theme song that they used for him. And the Ant-Man theme song, for me, is brilliant too. It's not iconic yet, but it could be, potentially. And for me, it's the best theme song in Marvel after the Avengers. Ant-Man's theme song is that good. If you haven't heard it, just search on YouTube, Ant-Man theme song. It is brilliant. It is actually brilliant. Let's talk about the movie. That Louis guy, by the way, he's quite funny in this movie. Played by Michael Pena, I'm pretty sure. He's funny. So yeah, the villain of this movie, what's his name? Darren Cross. He has a yellow jacket suit. He wants to create more of these, sell it to Hydra. As it turns out, Scott wants to help his daughter, but he's a criminal, so he can't get a job. He goes on a heist to Hank Pym's house, finds the Ant-Man suit, and then eventually goes and tries it on. And he experiences, he shrinks first of all, and he's like, it's for the first time obviously, his first time, he doesn't know what's going on, and it's just scary. And he just goes through this little mini adventure, and at the end of it, he's like, no, I'm not having this. I just stole this suit, that was the scariest experience ever. No, I'm gonna give it back. I'm gonna go back to the house and put it back. Then he got arrested while trying to put it back, so yeah. There's that as well. And then Hank Pym helped break him out, and yeah, it carries on from there. So yeah, a lot of people don't approve of Scott. Obviously his daughter's mum and his daughter's mum's boyfriends, they don't approve of him. He's not paying child support yet, so they're not letting him see his daughter. And as for Hope, who is Hank Pym's daughter, obviously they've hired him now to be Ant-Man, to steal a Yellow Jacket suit. They want to train him, of course, and Hope is like, she doesn't agree, she doesn't approve of him. She wants to do it herself, but Hank Pym is like, no, he can't have his own daughter. He doesn't risk his own daughter's life. So anyway, yeah, Scott gets all that training. It was a cool sequence of training. Then there's that Avengers cameo. He has to go to Avengers base to steal something, meets the Falcon. The fight between them is really cool. It's really cool. It's really well done, that cameo. And then yeah, not much to talk about. I think it was a good movie, but it's just not that much to talk about. I think it was a good movie, great action. And then yeah, let's fast forward now to the final battle of the movie. Now yeah, it was all good. The final heist, the final battle against Yellow Jacket. Yellow Jacket's suit, by the way, it actually looked badass. The villain I don't think was any good. Like, all he wanted was what? Money, power, etc. He wasn't a good villain. He wasn't a good villain, but his suit was badass. That was a really cool suit. I kind of wish it wasn't destroyed, because I would have liked to see that suit in action somewhere else. Hopefully the Wasp suit is just as cool in the sequel coming up. By the way, the sequel is after Infinity War, but we've seen in the trailer that nothing's been destroyed wherever they are. So does this take place before Infinity War? It'd be a bit confusing if it did. If it takes place before Infinity War, that'd be a bit confusing, wouldn't it? But it probably does. It probably does. Unless it somehow happens after. But then there's Avengers 4, so how can it happen in between? I don't know, but that's a bit of a weird thing. I guess we'll find out soon enough when it takes place. Then again, they've done things in the random order a lot of times. Obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy 2 happen like one after another. So yeah, and they're like spread out over the MCU. So yeah, timelines, they don't go in like chronological order. Like Captain America was like the 5th movie, and that was technically the first one. So you know, it just goes in different orders. And it also, in the final battle, that giant ant, that was hilarious. And yeah, that's all there is to talk about. I just think it was a good movie, good origin story, not amongst the best, but still a pretty good movie and just really enjoyable. You know, one of the more fun movies of the Marvel Universe. I mean, most of them are fun, to be fair, but this is both good and fun. And yeah, it just works really well. It's like a mixture, as I said, a mixture of heist movie and a superhero. They like mixed it together. Similar plot to Iron Man, but it worked. It worked, and it's flipping cool. The power is really cool. It's really cool to look at, and yeah, it was done really well. And this is what Marvel does. They turn characters that you don't know very well, and they turn them into badass stars. That's what they do. Like before the MCU, I didn't know Iron Man. Like I didn't care about Captain America. I didn't know Thor. Okay, the only Avenger I knew was the Hulk. That was it. I didn't know Guardians of the Galaxy either. Okay, I knew Spider-Man of course, but I didn't know Ant-Man of course. I didn't know Black Panther. I didn't know or care about any of these characters. But the MCU has made them relevant to me and to a lot of people, I think. And it's just amazing what they've done. And I cannot wait for Infinity War. We have done Phase 2. It's kind of weird, right? Phase 2 and end on Ant-Man. Like, it would usually end on a big movie, right? And it ends on Ant-Man. It's just a little weird. But then again, Phase 3 starts with Civil War, so that makes up for that. But yeah, Phase 3 I think is the strongest phase of the MCU. Has the most like consistently good movies. So I'm looking forward to watching those next. This is your boy Davidoff. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Why am I singing? I don't know. See ya.